Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're taking a look here, of course, at Bitcoin, helping you understand the best practice and big picture for anything you're planning to do in the market. You want to become a Bitcoin professional, I totally recommend it because if you know Bitcoin, you understand everything else, right? That's pretty much the bottom line. Most alts will follow Bitcoin. So that's why we like to look at it daily and make sure we have a good understanding of it because if Bitcoin's having a bad day, other coins will likely do the same as well, and that really helps you kind of navigate the altcoin market too. So if you're new to the channel, just know I'm not a financial advisor. I love teaching people to trade. Hope you can learn something here today, and obviously if you want to become a better trader, go ahead and check out my website, cryptocash.tech. Got a lot of new members coming over, of course. A lot of them are excited about the signals that I've been sending out. We've been taking anywhere between 30 to 50% profits on a lot of our long positions, our leveraged long positions. It's fully automated through Cornix, my trading bot that I use to send out the signals. Of course, the biggest thing as well, in my opinion, is a trading university that I have, that I offer, that provides you with all this, the 17 years of knowledge that I have, kind of all wrapped up into a nice, easy to understand series of videos. So check that out in your own time, cryptocash.tech. Very last thing too, BitGet, fantastic exchange. Tremendously better, in my opinion, than ByBit and KuCoin. They work very seamlessly, extremely good level 2 data, and of course there's a transfer bonus USDT if you transfer funds over and trade with them. Right? You have until November 30th to do that, but I would recommend sooner than later, just because it's fantastic exchange. You're kind of missing out if you don't, you're not using that, right? So here's the thing with Bitcoin. It's pretty straightforward in the sense that yesterday was a weird day, and it was followed by a previous weird day. Like, we've been having some unique behaviors. So I mean, you see this candlestick here, for example. That is essentially a dragonfly doji. That usually signals a reversal. Well, the reversal is supposed to go upwards. It went down even further. In addition to that, of course, we have this crazy candle wick, obviously, from the data recently for the inflation, 0.75% basis points. And then, of course, a bullish engulfing candle. Get this, a bullish engulfing candle followed by a dragonfly doji that closed lower than it opened. And then, of course, here we are today. So needless to say, it may not make a lot of sense to you, but those are some funky candlesticks, and it's a very ugly situation right now. So again, be cautious and careful, respect the market, respect leverage if you're using it, but that is essentially where we're at for the moment. So we're still under 50 on the RSI, not great, considered still bearish. The MACD is starting to wane. In other words, it's starting to kind of dissipate. That momentum is starting to lose, and we could potentially see a convergence occur in the next couple of days, couple of weeks. I personally don't think we're going to see a massive recovery next week, but it kind of feels like there could be a little bit more preparation on the horizon because there's a lot of volume transferring onto exchanges in the last couple of weeks, and typically when that happens, the price goes down. Again, there's a lot of different schools of thought, but generally speaking, we may not be at the bottom, so I don't want you to think that we're there yet, but it does feel like the bottom is fairly in, okay? And what I mean by that, so we take a look at these larger, basically this Fibonacci circle, right? It's drawn from the most highest to the most lowest point here, from 69,000 down to the most recent 17.6. And in that regard, what it does, it kind of tells us that we are in this lower channel here between 0.786 and the 1. Okay, so in other words, we're as extended to the outside as we can get, which likely implies that we have a nice support level here at about 18,000. And you can see, of course, that we wicked down and touched that almost 3 times. Okay, so again, I think that we should be in the bottom and we should hold. If we break below 18,000, just say 17.6, then we're going to be in a position where we'll have to have a different conversation. I think the likelihood of that is lower, but it is still a possibility. All right. So again, the daily doesn't look fantastic. We also include the moving averages. You can kind of see here we're well below all three. The 200 isn't even in sight, whereas the 20 is the next saving grace, trending right around that previous resistance level, or current resistance, previous support, 19,800. So that's kind of where we're at there on the daily. Once again, not fantastic by any stretch. Excuse me. So with the 4-hour here, it's not looking good either in the regard of the simple fact of the moving averages. So to touch on this really quick, just because we're over the 20 doesn't mean it's like we're all good and go. It's go time, right? We're still needing to get over the 50 and the 200. So I don't like that particularly. What I do like is that we're retesting 50 on the RSI pretty consistent. So if we can get above that level with a nice closure, just say somewhere in the 19.5 range this weekend, it'd be really nice. That'd be extremely helpful instead of trending right where we're at. Keep this in mind though too. There are some positive as well. Higher lows here essentially, looking good. It's another reason why I decided to take a trade yesterday with BNB and Ethereum is because of the fact that we had this bouncing point here where we continue to establish higher lows. Okay, again, I'm not as worried with the higher highs as I am with higher lows. Higher lows are most important when you're in a descending trend and you're trying to break that trend to the upside. Okay. Inverse applies, of course, with your going up and you're trying to short, but in this case, we are looking for lower lows to continue to establish themselves, and they are so far. That's positive. I guess you could say that's a silver lining. MACD is still converging, so to speak. So all in all, mostly good here on Bitcoin for the 4-hour transitionary time frame. Okay. Again, not fantastic for the moving averages, but the oscillators are telling us a different story. Moving on to the 1 hour, though, we can see at the Ichimoku cloud, it's really just kind of drawing dead, for lack of better terms. In other words, there's no significant buy signals. I do like that we're averaging ourselves out above the cloud, but with us being fairly range bound, it doesn't really matter too much. You get a lot of false positives with the cloud, so try not to use it exclusively in range bound trading. It's better in descending or ascending trends, right? Because it helps you with trend reversals. So in that case, cloud is really kind of conflicting information here. We look at the Ichimoku cloud already and move on to the actual TD sequential. We can see we hit a 9 here as well, which is another reason why I felt comfortable taking a long position yesterday, because it was overextended to the downside, and of course it came up to a 7, got rejected right here at the price point about 19,400, and has kind of done this ever since. So right now it's not telling us it wants to break out per se, but it has more likely to go up than it does down based on its higher low pattern, considering it was originally descending from the get-go, right? Again, in a descending trend, higher lows are important for reversals. Now, again, when I say reversal, it doesn't mean the price is going to shoot up. It just implies that the price action may not continue to go down, and it could likely go sideways and stay range-bound for some time, and then break to the upside eventually. Right? That's a possibility. So that's kind of where we're at there in that regard. Let's go ahead and take a look last at the volume weighted average price on the 15. Just kind of see here, it's really just working within the standard deviation. It's not really going too far outside. We can see obviously that we got this little bit here that corrected itself. That's a good sign. Ultimately, nice little correction, and then it's staying within. So again, not a lot to extract there in that regard. You could say the same thing for Bollinger Bands as well, but the bottom line is that we're not overextended at this point, and we're doing fairly well. Okay, so all in all, I do like what I see here for Bitcoin on the shorter time frames. Obviously, we have to acknowledge the macro, it is absolutely bearish. Okay, so we're still completely bearish until we break this this descending trend. But I won't feel like we're bearish until we obviously come up, I would say 24,000 or higher would confirm bullish, right? So if we were bullish, I would say that we're breaking 24, maybe even 28/30,000. That's a conversation for another day. For right now, we got to get out of the trenches and just kind of break this descending trend and kind of go from there. So the next couple of days, the next week will be a really good determining factor on if the price is going to come up or if it's going to get rejected and come down. Both are still likely. You got to keep that in mind. Do not rule it out just yet. All right, so that's all I got for you there. Hopefully that made sense and I described that correctly. If you want to become a better trader, again, cryptocash.tech is the website. Link in the description below. If you want to benefit from a decent amount, a very healthy amount of transfer funds, basically bonus USDT, before November 30th, use the link in the description below. You can go ahead and register with BitGet. They're a fantastic exchange, tremendously better, in my opinion, than ByBit and or KuCoin. So I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Once more, thank you so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one.